Alright, I think we're going. Alright guys, welcome to week 2 of the creation of our TTRPG system within a year, or we'll delete the YouTube channel. My name is Ethan Astorora, and I will be your journey guide across the journey of creation of Mythical Worlds, our TTRPG. So, why are you here? You're probably wondering, what do I mean by the title of this YouTube video? I haven't really decided what its title is going to be, but I know the vibe, so I know why you clicked on it generally. Dungeons & Dragons, Pathfinder 2E, and all these other TTRPG systems have another fundamental issue, more than the other issues that I had from last week. This one hits home for me specifically. When I first started playing Dungeons & Dragons, I had no idea why my character got more powerful as they leveled up. Roleplay wise, I mean. Like, why am I special? Why do I gain more magic spells? Why do I know more magic than that old wizard guy in the tower that's been studying magic his entire life? Why do I seem like I can cast spells at higher level than him? That doesn't make any sense. How do I figure this out? And no, D&D 5th edition really doesn't explain this at all. And that's what we're here to fix with our power system. Essentially, D&D's method, I think in older editions, was that you gain ability to dodge better, and you just learn the new stuff at a faster rate because you're cool and you're him, I guess, or her, I guess. Yeah, that's not gonna work. So in our TTRPG, this is the first stage of the power system, an aura system. Essentially, every living and non-living thing in this TTRPG has an aura, and this aura is very particular on how it's, I guess, used in a way. It's not a living thing, not yet, we'll get into that, where in the case where it is, but in this case, think of it as your energy, I guess, of your body. If you ever watch anime, this can be attributed to like chakra from Naruto, or just that glowing yellow-haired guy from Dragon Ball Z. Either way, if you haven't heard of those things, then forget I said that. This is not like an anime-based system, but it bundles. What is that word? It follows the same kind of train of thought. Essentially, your aura is based on your willpower in this TTRPG. So if you have a call to an adventure and you're around powerful magical artifacts or very powerful magical beings or beasts for too long, and you have your will imposed to fight them or contest them in an adventure, you will grow your aura to be stronger, and it will start to specialize in one thing or another. And this is where it differs as you get older. After your adventure, after you're done with your adventuring days, your will to adventure goes less. You maybe save the princess, or save the prince, or save the kingdom, or destroy the kingdom. Whatever your goal was as your character, you've accomplished. And now you're just relaxing. As your will to adventure dies down, so does your level to a certain extent. So you can explain that as why the old wizard in the tower doesn't cast as high level as spells as you do now, and why he doesn't do it anymore, even though he could have done it in the past. More so on that, with magic specifically, we'll get into it later to be more specific, but every character has a chance to utilize their aura in their specific way. The martial characters do, and so do the spell casters. So this kind of fixes that divide as well, but more specifically, when you cast a certain level of spell, or use a certain level of aura ability for a martial, usually like 6 or 8 level out of 10, or I guess 16 or 18 out of 20, we haven't decided the max level, you have a chance of deforming or manipulating your body, or soul for that matter. It's extreme on your body to imbue and use that much aura and that strength of aura, given that your body usually isn't used to it. And that's kind of how this power system works, in a nutshell, essentially. Now, we got that out of the way, let's talk about the next feature, which is mostly on the character sheet. So let's transition over to the character sheet. Alright, so now we're in the character sheet. First, at the top, you'll see that you'll have your character name, ancestry, and culture. There is 18 different ancestries, and we're going to have to break those down in groups, actually, in future videos, because it can get quite a lot to break down the culture and ancestry of 18 different groups of, I guess in D&D they would be called races. But and then we have classes and subclasses. But again, remember our subclasses are more like skill trees with a class action skill for every class. So they function quite differently, but they're named the same thing. We have 6 attributes, just like Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, but they function a little bit differently. We have brawn, agility, and fitness making up your physical attributes, and then intellect, awareness, and charm making up your special attributes or mental attributes. They're more like magical based. Either way, with the aura system already explained, I can easily say that as you level up, these attributes get, I guess, advanced with your aura. Your aura boosts some of these attributes. So, with each level up, you actually get a point to place into each one, not each one of these attributes, but into a attribute of your choosing. And at your start, at level 1, you get a +2, a +1, a +0, a +0, a -1, and a -2 to place each of those values into a attribute of your choosing. So if you want your character to be more intellectually based, at level 1, you can put the +2 there, or maybe the +1, and so on and so forth. I would say that we have skills, and we have 2 skills for each attribute, and every time you level up, you will also get an additional point to put under those skills. So you get 1 point to put in your attributes, and then another point to put in your skills. But these skills do reflect your attributes, so it kind of, your skills will be higher numbered at the end than your attributes. We were playtesting around with this, and it does get a little crazy with getting a +20 at level 10 to one at a skill if you really want to be focused on one type of skill. But that can be fun. Either way, we have to go over the skills now. We have demolition and labor for the brawn, and this basically means breaking things down and building things up. So if you want to run through that wall or break down that door, it might be a demolition check. If you want to help rebuild the town, it might be a labor check. Next, we have agility. We have a mobility and stealth as your skills for the agility attribute. And basically, mobility is a combination of athletics and acrobatics, and stealth is just stealth. Intimidation and endurance are your skills for fitness attribute, and the intimidation is your physical representation of your aura being more intimidating, or boosting up your intimidation. And endurance is more or less your ability to consume poisons, resist forceful pushes, stuff like that. We'll get more into detail of what that means in future videos, and explanations, but that's all you need to know for those. Next, we'll get into the special or mental skills, which are knowledge and crafting for intellect. Knowledge is just all knowledge, history, religion, arcane, all of that packed into one. Crafting actually attributes to the crafting, I guess, skill system. There's not a skill, I should say, there's a crafting system in the game, and we'll have to do a whole video for that. Perception and survival for your awareness attribute. I'm sure you know what these are, but here survival also includes instinct and insight. So that's all rolled into one skill. Then we have performance and diplomacy. Performance is performance, performing for a crowd, performing for one person. Diplomacy is persuasion and deception, rolled into one. We already talked about the ancestry and culture, but I will note here that languages, you do gain another language every time you boost your intellect by 1 point. And that's if you come across someone with that language, as your aura is now manipulating contact with someone else's aura to learn a language that they already know. Other than that, we have the health system. So health is boosted from your aura, giving you regenerative properties and shielding you from damage. So that's how your health grows as you level up. Temporary health is used more by the entertainer class, which replaces the bard class in this TTRPG, but it feels a lot more like a bard, I'm going to be honest. We have these 3 hearts, which dictate your death system, I guess, how you might die. Once you reach 0 health, you will get the 3 hearts. And these hearts have actually compounding restrictions as you get to the last heart, with the last heart being unconscious, actually, and you then just are dead after that. So if you're unconscious with 1 heart, and then if you lose that heart, you die, and the way you lose hearts is just being hit, and essentially To get out of this, you have to be healed, or just not hit for long enough to where you generally rest on the floor, lying down, basically. With the first heart, you can limp around. You'll have one movements cube and one light attack cube. We'll explain what those mean later on in this video. We have the middle heart. You lose one of those cubes of your choosing, so you get a little choice here as well. And then lastly, we have tools and exploratory equipment. So lock-picking tools, we have lock-picks, like in Skyrim, for example. Instead of a lock-picking kit and a skill, you just have lock-picks to attempt. And it's a really cool lock-picking system, I might say, between the three complexity versions. So it gets more complex as you go on. We have silver and gold as our currencies. Silver being 10 silver, being 1 gold, and that's pretty much it that you need to know for that. Armor class has been replaced by dodge rating and barrier rating. Basically, and to sum it up, the armor class really is the physical defense in Dungeons and Dragons, and in this game system, there's a physical defense and a magical defense, and that's how you can think of them. But there is armor as well, and that works a little bit different. The armor you have is a reduction of damage you're taking, of physical damage you're taking. So let's say you do get hit, they do surpass your dodge rating, but you have armor. If you have a 5 on your armor, I guess your armor skill is protection is like a 5, then you'll reduce every hit coming in by 5, unless it's an armor breaking weapon, which would reduce your armor's protection score until you can repair it. Then you have mobility, which is really important because it dictates how much you can move. And in this game system, or TTRPG system, it is counted in squares. Initiative is a flat initiative here as well. It is based off your agility modifier, so there's no more rolling of initiative. It saves time, and a fast character stays fast and reactive. There is more guidance on what if that character is distracted, what does that mean for initiative, and later guidance for the journey guide or our version of the Dungeon Master, but that's for future problem for me to figure out. I already figured it out, I just need to explain it to you. Then we have Aura Pool, which is 3 times your current level, so you get 3 points per level. So at level 1 you have 3 points. Both the Martial and Caster classes deal with Aura Pool, so we kind of fix Casters and Martials together in that way as well. Next we have the Action Economy Diamond, and this kind of works like the cube fits in the square hole game that I've seen a lot of memes recently. And essentially how this works is that you have different actions you can take that have different colored cubes. And the way you can modify this, later on we'll actually have a crafting video. If you take D6s from a dollar store, you can just paint them up, or for the purple one specifically, you can glue the 2 of them together with super glue and then paint it purple. So you can pretty much do this game system at home with just a printer and some dice and some paint if you wanted to. But let's get into how this works. So the green cubes are called swift actions. These are usually your light attacks from your weapon or your non-leveled spells. When D&D 5th edition, they're called cantrips. And they go in these 2 slots. The orange ones are your movement or reactions. You can actually get really cool reactions as you level up and choose different weapon attributes as you progress as well and get more skilled with the weapons. And also there's reaction spells, so there's 2 slots for those in orange. The purple outlines here and the blue outlines are actually slots denoting purple and blue shapes if you wanted to, per se. The purple shape is actually 2 cubes long, so you can either place it this way or place it this way, and it represents your leveled spells or your class skill action. So every class gets a cool class skill action skill that levels up with you, and other weapon attributes you can obtain when you get more skilled with using weapons. And lastly, the blue is a special action, so that it represents your looking around to pull that lever, Crunk, or cutting down that rope to drop the chandelier on your enemy. And that's pretty much it. These areas down here are pretty simple to explain. These 2 boxes hold your quickly referenced most used actions, I guess. So if you want to place the cube in the thing and you're like, okay, crap, I've used this slot and I've used this slot for my slide attacks, I only have this slot and this slot, what can I do? Okay, I can fit an orange cube in there. Can't really fit a purple because this green square is blocking it, and I can fit a blue. So where's my orange and where's my blue actions? Quickly reference it. All right, I only can do these. This is what I'll do. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So that's pretty much it for the character sheet. Yeah, so thank you for watching the video, and I hope to see you next week where we'll be going into either the weapon system or the classes. Vote down below which one you rather see next week, and I'll see you there. So have a great Lunar Rest.